Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you are all having a great day. Some actually pretty interesting news today, so let's jump right into it. TD Ameritrade, giant online brokerage firm, along with several Wall Street firms, is ready to back a new cryptocurrency market. The brokerage giant is investing in Eris Exchange's new cryptocurrency market called ErisX as part of the cryptocurrency initiative. Well-known trading firms like DRW Holdings and Virtue Financial have stakes in Eris's exchange. ErisX is a platform that will allow individuals to trade cryptocurrencies and other derivatives associated with virtual products. According to The Block, the cryptocurrency market will be headed by Thomas Chippas, a well-known veteran in the trading sector. Chippas said, "In our opinion, there is no lack of interest in building our markets for people wishing to trade digital assets, and there's plenty of space for people to come in with a regulated exchange and clearinghouse," end quote. Speaking to Bloomberg Media, spokeswoman Jessica Darmoni stated that the platform will allow trading in Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Along with this, investors will be able to trade the futures contracts in cryptocurrencies. She further said that the contracts will be physically delivered. Physically delivered contracts refers to customers being paid in the underlying cryptocurrency instead of fiat when the futures contract expires. This is what we had a problem with in 2017 when we figured out that Bitcoin was going to finally have its own futures contract. We thought, mistakenly, that Bitcoin was going to be traded physically back and forth, i.e. if you wanted the Bitcoin, you would get it back and forth. You would tell the other person that you wanted it and they would send it to you. However, it was actually written on a piece of paper or online that you owned something that you didn't actually own. And when things were finally settled and people who were supposed to get what they were owed got it, it was not actual Bitcoin. So the fact that this is going to be physical is very important, as this means that Bitcoin will be passing back and forth through the network, increasing the daily volume that we have. Darmoni stated that ErisX is seeking approval to certify or self-certify new contracts with the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, or the CFTC. The firm is expecting cash trading to begin in Q2 of the coming year after receiving a green signal from the CFTC. A clearinghouse owned by Eris is also under review by the CFTC. Post the approval, the derivatives will be cleared by the clearinghouse. Assuming the grant of approval, she stated that derivatives will begin in the second half of 2019. So TD Ameritrade is already gigantic. Then the fact that they're also getting into the cryptocurrency space, even though it may not be them exactly, the fact that they're going through another thing called ErisX, it's still totally fine. The fact that they're even allowing themselves to get into the cryptocurrency space, I think at this point crypto can't be denied any further. No matter what anyone says, every single person, every single company and institution who has said something negatively or has said negative things about cryptocurrency in 2017 or the beginning of 2018, you don't hear a word from them anymore because they're all scrambling to figure out a way to get into the market themselves, even though they might not want to be hands-on with the actual approach, simply because I think that they're still afraid of the entire thing crashing down. But like I always say, when you have major institutions and major stock markets getting into the game, that was all it took. That was the gigantic domino falling over that pushed everything in our favor. And this is only going to continue. So very good job to TD Ameritrade. Next up, so remember about a day or two ago, we were talking about Coinbase and how Coinbase, what's it called? They launched something that would make it easier for people to get into the cryptocurrency space. They had a thing, I think the minimum buy-in was $25 or 25 euros. And when you paid 25 whatever, you would end up getting a fraction of the 5 cryptocurrencies that they have, so like an equal portion in that. And the day after, we now have Abra, who is also launching their own product. Crypto wallet provider Abra is launching a new token in a bid to offer investors more exposure to the cryptocurrency market. The Bitwise 10 Crypto Index Token, or the BIT10, developed by Bitwise Asset Management, tracks the top 10 cryptocurrencies, not just 5, by market cap and is rebalanced monthly. Investors can purchase the token, which is built on Bitcoin, to essentially invest in all 10 cryptocurrencies at once, according to a press release. They said this grants retail investors access to nearly 80% of the cryptocurrency market at once, the release stated. Abra CEO Bill Barheit told CoinDesk that at present the fund invests in Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Stellar, Litecoin, Dash, Monero, and Zcash. Users can deposit Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, or a fiat currency, very important, into their Abra wallet and convert funds to the B10 token, he added. The token itself is not a fund, he said. The BIT10 token is 100% Bitcoin based. It is a simple Bitcoin collateralized multi-sig wallet. The amount of Bitcoin the consumer is holding in the B10 or the BIT10 token's wallet is automatically adjusted to reflect the USD or United States dollar value of the BIT10 index. Abra is counterparty to the contract and hedges away counterparty risk on all of its contracts. This is exactly how all of the other synthetic assets in Abra function, end quote. The BIT10 token works by using smart contracts to peg a user's cryptocurrency or fiat currency holdings to BIT10. BIT10's price will, in turn, move with the performance of those coins. While the token is built on Bitwise's index fund, it is not an exchange-traded fund or an ETF. An Abra representative said, however, the token is similar to an ETF in its ability to grant investors exposure to an index. That being said, Bitwise does intend to ETF based on its cryptocurrency index. As reported at the time, the company said it was looking for approval from the SEC because that's how everything kind of works. Interesting one. I think this is a great idea. I think more things should happen like this. The fact that we haven't had any ETFs allowed or any other type of funds in general allowed for cryptocurrencies, I'm pretty sure they spoke with regulators, but the fact that they came up with this as a way to not get around regulations, but to get around the fact that they couldn't launch an ETF because they weren't allowed to do so, or even a futures, that they created a token that is based off of the prices of the other 10 coins that you are also, wherever they might be, that you're also going to be investing in. It's incredibly intelligent, and it just shows how much of a demand that there actually is for this in the market. Like, realistically, if you were new to cryptocurrencies and someone told you you could put 100 euros or dollars into this and gain exposure to 10 different coins, you would have a flood of people doing this. But the fact that we have not, and especially they have not, received any proper regulation when it comes to what they can list and what cannot be listed and who cannot do what, it's interesting that they're creating their own things now in order to kind of get around this. I hope this only continues. I have, once again, a strong inkling that we're not going to get any type of regulation anytime this year, but I hope if things like this are able to be created, especially the thing that Coinbase also made, and that doesn't list itself as a fund or an ETF or any type of other fund, especially not if we had crypto mutual funds, I think the cryptocurrency space would completely lose its mind, simply because if you were able to, let's say, have like the top 20 or top 30 coins in a fund that you like, there are certain mutual funds that you're allowed to like put in like $100 every month automatically from your bank account or so and so, like every single month over and over and over. People use this as a basis for their retirement in 20, 30, 40 years. Imagine if you were able to put, let's say, $200 or $300 or euros every single month into a fund automatically that invested in the top 10, top 20 coins, and you would be able to do that over the next 20 to 30 years. That would gain a lot of attention very fast, but as of now, we are still waiting for regulations, and therefore, those things can exist, but things like this can, so I'm glad that they came up with something like this. I do applaud them, especially for adding 5 extra tokens than Coinbase, but anyway, this is quite interesting news, and I'm very glad that this is taking place. Next up, IOTA is in the news, and it's kind of confusing, so bear with me as I'm going through it. Recently, Bitpanda, a leading European retail cryptocurrency exchange, announced that they will be offering trading services for IOTA or MyOTA. The exchange platform is also one of the first exchanges to support IOTA Hub. According to the Post, the collaboration makes Bitpanda one of the first companies to the production platform to fully utilize the IOTA Hub. The report also spoke about the various advantages of using IOTA Hub. This includes IOTA Hub use case to manage most of the work with Tangle on respect to the IOTA Tangle. It says Tangle is the data structure behind IOTA and is a specific type of directed graph that can hold transactions. Furthermore, the IOTA Hub focuses on helping both exchanges and developers by translating the unfamiliar concepts of IOTA into familiar concepts. IOTA's foundation head of engineering, Edward Grev, stated that the IOTA Hub's main agenda was to provide standardized and open source Solutions that would ensure that IOTA's integration with its service providers would become simple and easy. Some of the advantages of IOTA Hub, I'm so tired of saying IOTA Hub, was that it had the ability to manage its key indexes. The IOTA Hub also monitored transactions and ensured that IOTA Tangle would not be used for illegitimate reasons. Another major advantage was that the secure seed management and optional second factor signature increased IOTA's operational security. So without having to read any more, what I'm confused about is sometimes, you know how people get like Ripple and XRP confused? It says that they're offering trading services for IOTA/MyOTA, but the entire thing is constantly talking about the IOTA Hub and also the integration with the Tangle. So I'm not really sure if it's just them using the Tangle or if they're going to be using the IOTA token on their Bitpanda platform, because usually when things like this happen is usually a bit more clear, i.e. Bitpanda has announced that they're going to be listing IOTA for trade, and not that they're going to be having support for the IOTA Hub and talk about the Tangle. As of now, I'm going to assume that this partnership has to do with them using the Tangle or using the Hub and not the token. Either way, it's great that they have a new partnership, but I think the word IOTA Hub was used far too many times in this article. I'm going to try and look for a bit more clarity on this. The way it seems like they could also be using the token, or rather like listing it as a thing on their platform. But as of now, it appears that IOTA still has another partnership with Bitpanda, but they're going to be using their Tangle and the Hub to increase security on the Bitpanda platform. Right. Hope I got that correct. Next up, Coinbase is in the news today with transaction fees volatile and unpredictable. This one's actually going to be quite interesting. Sending cryptocurrencies can sometimes be frustrating. That's an understatement. So says US-based crypto exchange Coinbase in a new blog post that sets out the issues rising from shifting miner fees and exactly what it has been doing to address the problem. As most who have sent or received Bitcoin will know, the primary problem is that the fee variations can mean significant changes in the amount of time it takes for transactions to be confirmed. Coinbase says this wastes company time and pointless support requests and provides users with a frustrating experience. Not even the fees on Bitcoin. For me, it's been like the time it takes. I was doing transactions I was sending, I think, Ethereum back and forth. And I think it took maybe like 18 seconds to show that it was, it was going through the network. It had not been confirmed. And when I tried doing it with Bitcoin, I sat at the computer for 35 minutes. This happened on multiple days. I kept on testing it out to see if the network had increased in speed or some way. It took hours at the very end of it. And finally, when it got to the system that I was trying to send it to, it kept on saying that the transaction was still unconfirmed. And I mean, fees aren't as bad as they were before, but fees can also be a tiny bit lower. It says the reason fees rise and fall so steadily or readily is that rather than crawling back transaction costs via a percentage, as card firms like Visa and MasterCard do, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies pay the miners that confirm the transactions a fee based on a model not dissimilar to bidding at an auction. At times when the Bitcoin network is busiest, miners have a queue of transactions to process, and these are prioritized by dealing with the transactions offering the highest fee first. For those who did not know, a lot of people were confused before. I've seen people asking about this. Why is their transaction taking so long? Typically, if you are using an older wallet or something that does not allow you to set your fee for the network, like the older Bitcoin wallets in like 2013 and 2014, when you would try to send something, you actually weren't able to enter the fee. And as the Bitcoin became more popular around 2015, when you would still try and send on this old wallet, it still had like a 20, 30 Satoshi fee, which is, nothing now. But when the market picked up and things got a bit more difficult in the network, miners began to prioritize who they were taking transactions from. And if you had a newer wallet and you could set your fee to, let's say, I am okay with paying, I'm trying to send $3 million worth of Bitcoin across the world, I don't mind paying a $3 fee. Well, your transaction is going to go to the front of the line for someone who's trying to pay a fourth of a cent because they're using one of the older wallets. So this is still how it works right now. Those who pay the most end up getting their transactions through the entire gateway first. It says, but the method can cause lengthy delays before transactions are confirmed and the funds have arrived, as well as spiking fees at the busiest times, as well as seen in late 2017 when the price shot up to an all-time high of around $20,000. And I remember Bitcoin fees were edging around $34 at that time. I tried sending a transaction to another wallet, and I will never forget, I was about to hit send and I looked at it and it said the transaction fee was, I think, $24. And I just sat there and waited and hoped that the amount would go down, because I was not spending $24 to be able to send anything across any type of network. To address the issue, Coinbase says it has turned to a procedure which uses economic incentives built into the Bitcoin protocol for improving confirmation time on transactions. It's called Child Pays for Parent, or CPFP, as it is called. It hasn't been rolled out across the company's systems in the last few months. They said CPFP works by following up a stalled Bitcoin transaction with a fee too low from the current market to want to process immediately, with a so-called child transaction, a later transaction linked to the official parent transaction, and in this case set to offer a higher fee. Since Bitcoin mining clients will offer a batch group of transactions, adding a better reward child transaction can cause the parent to be processed sooner, the post indicates. Coinbase says that the process kicks in after a payment has been stuck for at least 4 blocks and has at times been used to automatically rescue thousands of transactions in a single day. What I think is, one, good job Coinbase, or Coinbase devs who working on this and figuring out how this all works. 2, I think it's ridiculous that we've gotten to a point where even the Bitcoin core developers aren't working on this as much anymore. And it's now up to Coinbase and other institutions to figure out a way to lower the fees for people who are trying to use their platform. For those who don't know, the people who are the developers for Bitcoin, also known as the Bitcoin core team, it's very possible for them to scale Bitcoin in order for them to at least allow at least 4 times the amount of transactions that are going through it right now. At the moment, Bitcoin can do 3 to 5 transactions per second, which is almost nothing. We know from the other forks that have been born from Bitcoin that it's entirely possible in the Bitcoin code to make Bitcoin quicker. However, the people who are developing Bitcoin are focused on something called Liquid and the Lightning Network to make Bitcoin quicker, as opposed to just scaling it itself, because when the argument goes that when they scale Bitcoin, there is then no need for them to actually have to implement a lot of the other things that they are trying to do. And also a lot of the miners, the people who are verifying transactions on the Bitcoin network, have also said that they would stop mining, or that they would stop processing a large number of transactions if their fees got lowered because Bitcoin was able to scale or have larger blocks that were sending transactions through the network. But good job on Coinbase for figuring this out. The fact that 2 transactions have to go through and one has a higher fee than the other in order to compensate for the one that went before it is absolutely ridiculous. I shudder to think what's going to happen when Bitcoin passes $10,000 again, when Bitcoin hits around $20,000 and the network completely freezes up. Last year we had a moment where Bitcoin, it was 200,000 backed up transactions, and that might have been part of the reason why the price started to fall, because I think everyone assumed, as Bitcoin is the number 1 coin, that it could handle a bit of the pressure, and it couldn't. And when this was all happening, I remember looking at transactions on the actual website. You can actually see all the transactions that are happening at any given time throughout the world that are happening on the Bitcoin blockchain. And it was just like absolutely, like, people were trying to send so many transactions. None of them were being sent. It said over 200,000 transactions. And I think people got fearful because there were people who were mentioning that they were waiting at some point like 22 days for their transaction to go through. It's a bit scary especially if you, let's say you had like 100 Bitcoin and it hit $20,000 and you're trying to sell off a portion of them so you can go live your life in Malibu or something like that. And you keep checking your account and it says 18 days and the money's still not there and the price starts going down. That's a bit of a hit. I wish the Bitcoin Core people would do similar to what has happened on Bitcoin Cash and many other things and just increase the network capacity. No one's going to be upset if Bitcoin can only do 25 transactions per second. That's not a problem. It's not the same as 1 million transactions per second because Bitcoin is Bitcoin really needs to get it together. Rather, the team who's developing stuff, they need to stop being so focused on the money and on the transaction fees and actually make Bitcoin work like it used to. Cardano is in the news. Going to briefly skim over this. Cardano ADA continues its expansion into the market. Charles Hoskinson announced that the Yoroi wallet was released on the mainnet. Yoroi wallet allows users to send, receive, and store Cardano in a very fast and secure way. Charles Hoskinson is the creator of Cardano and co-founder of IOHK. He informed the community that the Yoroi wallet was already available on the mainnet on a tweet released on the 1st of October. He asked the community to try out the wallet and share their experience. This is what he said. Yoroi works as a Google Chrome browser extension similar to other wallets available. It takes up a little bandwidth because it is a lightweight wallet. This is important because it saves up a lot of space since it is not necessary to download the full blockchain. Additionally, the private keys are stored on computers and not centralized servers. The Yoroi wallet can be synchronized with Cardano's full node wallet known as Daedalus. This allows the wallet to connect to servers and download a full copy of the blockchain network. I saw news about this about a day ago or something like that. So this is, Cardano wasn't one of the coins that had problems with their wallets. So I guess this is just like a bit of an extension, if you will, to their already good wallet. Like, I haven't heard people complain about Daedalus at all. I know there are a couple of other coins where people have said that the developers behind those projects created their own wallet. The wallet was horrible, so they ended up using like Exodus or something like that. I don't know why so many developers don't get wallets right. I'm not a developer, so I can't really elaborate or tell you why. But a lot of them just aren't very good. But I haven't heard anything bad about Cardano's wallet. So I guess this is one, Cardano's in the news, and very good that they ended up releasing a new wallet. I think that's what I wanted to say. So last up, South Korea is in a blow to the industry. The government of South Korea has stuck with its legislative proposal to exclude the cryptocurrency and blockchain industry from being certified as venture firms. First proposed by South Korea's Ministry for Small and Medium Enterprises, or SMEs, and startups in August, the revision to the law called for Korean domestic blockchain industry, including cryptocurrency exchanges, to be removed from the government's official list of certified venture firms. As CCN reported at the time, the enactment of the proposal would mean that cryptocurrency startups and exchange platforms will join businesses from the gambling, bar, and entertainment industry. Crypto fits none of those. Quite simply, the sector would thereby lose tax perks and other financial incentives afforded to domestic startups and small businesses. Presently, a number of major Korean exchanges, some of the biggest in the world, including Upbit and BitThumb. People were annoyed that I said BitThumb and not BitHum. BitHum doesn't make any sense, so I say BitThumb because that's what my brain tells me to say. I don't know people walking around saying the word hum. Therefore, I say BitThumb, and that's probably how it's going to remain. Remain certified as venture firms, but that recognition is set to expire near the end of this year. They said the measure will discourage the industry as a whole. Lobby groups including the Korea Blockchain Association, Korean Industry Promotion Association, and the Korea Blockchain Startup Association warned at the time, voicing their obvious displeasure at the proposed revision to the law. As reported by Business Korea this week, the South Korean government has agreed upon the proposal with its legislation in the National Assembly. The policy, according to the report, will see cryptocurrency exchanges face the burden of the corporate and income taxes doubling, while they will no longer benefit from a 75% cut in acquisition taxes. Further, cryptocurrency exchanges will no longer have any privileges such as credit guarantees. Under the new government policy, cryptocurrency exchanges will be newly set up this month or later cannot be certified as venture firms. The report added, painting a bleak forecast for new startups entering the space without reading any further, because it just only gets worse for these cryptocurrency exchanges and people in the industry. I had high hopes that South Korea was going to actually do something meaningful to the cryptocurrency space. Over the last couple of months, I think the shift has been apparent in that the South Korean government and anything else that is maybe don't want to say antiquated, that may not be as up to date regarding laws and or other people in the actual space, what have you, don't understand what cryptocurrencies are. They don't want to understand what cryptocurrencies are. And I think they are trying to find a way to make cryptocurrency legal in the country without making it legal. I think they're trying to do anything that they can to stomp on innovation to make sure that it doesn't, because for those who weren't here before, the idea is cryptocurrency, rather South Korea last year was actually controlling the market. A lot of people don't know that. They actually had a premium on their prices because there was so much buying pressure in their country. Same exact thing with Japan. Japan and South Korea were, small nations, relatively tinier than other places, were controlling the entirety of the cryptocurrency market. They controlled more than 51% of it. And the South Korean government has come forward many times saying that they didn't like this. They didn't like that there was a premium. They didn't like how popular cryptocurrency was. I watched a documentary a couple of weeks ago. It was actually half Korean. I don't speak Korean. It was half Korean and half English. And they were asking people in the street. It was about 20, 30 minutes long, asking them how they felt about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And there's such a huge demand there. You could see, like, they were talking to even older people. Like, they were talking to people who were maybe like 45, 55 and stuff like that, and their eyes would light up because they were like, yeah, I own some, my son owns some, my son owns this, and I own this, and they were talking about buying some for their grandparents. It's like a really huge thing there. And if this is only what we're seeing in like little mini documentaries, I can only imagine what it's actually like to be there on any given day, because they were talking about, I think any day, I think there's like 5 new startups that are opening to try and become a crypto this and a crypto so-and-so. But the South Korean government has taken at least 9 months, when they said they would take 2 months to give crypto regulation. They still not have given any proper regulation, except for that they have rejected what cryptocurrency exchanges and the industry wanted to be, and they've now taxed them. If you notice, they made sure to tax them with things that typically have a SIN tax, that is SIN tax. This happens in a lot of other countries as well. They group these things together because they see these things as vices, and therefore things that should not be touched. And therefore, if you are touching them, you will be taxed even higher. So I don't think it's a mistake that they grouped the cryptocurrency industry with them, because they're trying to get people to not want to touch them. For whatever reasons they may have, it's actually quite sad. But as I've said before, planes exist and the internet exists. So a lot of the companies who were actually in South Korea at the beginning of the year, when they heard that the government was going to enact new laws and new this against the cryptocurrency space, they packed up their computers, they got into a plane, and they went to Europe, and they went to Malta, and they went to Japan, and they went to other places like Puerto Rico, and now they're thriving there. And I think the same exact thing is going to happen in South Korea. But what a lot of these countries aren't, I've said it before, not going to say it again. It's just really weird that they don't understand the future prospects of it. If I was a country and I saw that major stock exchanges around the world or major businesses were creating their own cryptocurrency exchanges, or were trying to get into this, so that we had news that other countries were actually mining cryptocurrencies, I think I'd be a bit more inclined to have an open ear to try and understand exactly what's going on. But I mean, like I've said, the current system that we have right now has been around for a millennium, if not even more, and they are a bit reluctant to lose any of the power that they have. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it's absolutely fantastic and that you are enjoying your day. Thank you once again for watching and or listening, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.